Good Dawning with Mr. Floyd. My name's Josh, and if you noticed, I changed the channel picture there to me instead of a random guy playing guitar. Well, it's David Gilmour. But nonetheless, welcome. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, hit the bell. We do this Monday, Moonday through Friday. So today, it's Friday. So what are you frying today? Just don't fry your brain. There we go. So yeah, apparently, if you're also hit the bell for notifications when I go live, and of course, like and subscribe, and share this with people who like to watch channeling, or a guy with his eyes closed. Talk very animated like. Ooh, my phone fell. Yeah, I don't have a proper stand when I'm at home, but I have a system that seems to work pretty good. We are at home. It's gray-ish and drizzle-ish, and I'd rather not be drizzled on. So we are here versus outside. So there we go. The weather is very unpredictable in Colorado, as are computers. So if cheers that everything comes back online. If you watched the, there we go, better finger there. If we watched the news today, and thank you. I woke up to a bunch of interesting texts. Grateful. Did not know what was going on. Now I do, and so grateful there. And so yes, love the mug. Thank you. There we go. I did not purchase this. When I went to Hershey Park, I purchased a expensive Walkman. I was in 6th grade, 7th grade, and I went to Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and Pitt and Philadelphia with my class. This mug came from my ex, but the Walkman is no longer in existence, but nonetheless, that was what I bought when I went to Hershey's. No, nothing chocolate, of course, except everybody buys that 5-pound chocolate Hershey's Kiss that you either have to break it, but you can't bite it because it's too big. But you buy it anyways, and you never eat it. And then when you go to eat it, it's been like sitting around for like forever. And it's like, yeah. So I bought one of those too. It never got eaten like every other giant Hershey's Kiss that you buy at Hershey Park and the Hershey factory. But yeah, if you watch the news today, I'm saying news, but if you're up on what's apparently going down, there you go. Then there's a big computer glitch going on. Apparently, though, from what I've just read, the cloud strike has fixed that. So if you need to go to the bank and your bank says error, it should be fixed shortly. Whoever did that, favor to you, and thank you for sending the world into chaos mode. But it goes to show you something. We are literally at the mercy of one guy, and his whole job was updating that, sending the patch out. He didn't check the patch in cloud. Literally, if our universe is at that fragile a state, what have we allowed ourselves to be? We've created this, so we allowed this. So we allowed ourselves to be one coded zero off of collapsing every. It's an interesting thought when you really think about what we created here. So yeah, let's see. I went to Hershey Park as a kid too. You and I are the same age. Maybe it's quite possible. You never know. I was with a whole slew of kids from Cincinnati, Ohio. Roselawn Condon High School. And Roselawn Condon's not even in existence anymore. It was one of the first schools in the state of Ohio to combine children with extreme autism on one end and then like advanced academics on the other end, and then all in between. So it was kind of the combo of combo schools, to say the least. I don't think the experiment worked very well, but nonetheless, I appreciated being in 6th or 7th grade there and being around children with extreme autism, because it certainly, you learn a lot. I'll leave it at that. I was not the bully in high school then after that, for sure. I'd never be, nonetheless. So yeah, hopefully that's all fixed. And if you're trying to go to the bank or something, if you have somebody coming in on a flight, that might be delayed, but it's apparently the world's largest computer outage. So favor to that, and that kind of goes into how we were talking about dervishing yesterday, and our world is just like teeters that close on the being dervishing. I mean, with the guy there who put the code out and didn't check to make sure the code was didn't scrub the code properly, I guess, and so he sent out the patch, and look what happens. Just one guy is sitting at work, and now you imagine being that guy, and like every airline missed flights, and you're that guy. That's the kind of world we created for ourselves. Kind of an interesting space that we're in, if you really want to think about it. All right, let's see who we got in the chat here. I'm trying to, as you can kind of hear there, this is kind of slowly getting formatted in some fashion. I mean, it's like watching, like, remember if you watched the first years of like David Letterman, they were all like, what is this guy trying to do? But it all kind of worked out. I'm not saying I'm David Letterman or anything, but it's the idea that, like, if rusty, it's like getting out old rusty energies and some new energies are Henny. So, but this is all shifting. Let's see what we got in the chat. Blessings, Henny. Good dawning. Laura, good dawning. Good morning. Love the mug. Fatima. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we've been doing cord cutting. So today we're going to cut any resentment. So whoever you have, whatever, when you see the word resentments are humongous energetic cords that we hold with others, as we kind of said yesterday there. So we're going to look into ourselves and pull off our resentments. We can also, and we're going to do something a little different within this. Instead of doing just a straight cord cutting, because I'm trying to, the intention is to show you different ways to clear things. I saw in a chat from somebody's video the other day that there's a person who had like no way to visualize things. So if you, I forget what the condition is called, but if you can't visualize anything in your universe, like you close your eyes and it's black, and you say, see a swan, and you can't, then I apologize if that's you. It's only like 2% of the population. But nonetheless, it could make this exercise a little hard there. But we do want to, I mean, not everybody has that ability. And I never thought about it until I saw it in that chat the other day on the video. So what we're going to do, instead of cord cutting, we're actually going to erase from the chalkboard. So a little bit different, same energetics though. So what we're going to do is, but we're going to write it in a chalkboard form. So we're going to, like, when I have the hiccups, instead of like doing, some people will hold their nose or burp, try to do this, that, or the other. I can imagine, and it's a form of mental working in your body, is I just imagine myself writing on the chalkboard. I don't have, like Bart Simpson writing at the beginning of The Simpsons, I don't have the hiccups. They don't exist. And after about 2 minutes, a minute and a half, the hiccups generally go away, unless it's like I've had like something really cold and I'm truly spasming or something. The hiccups will really generally go away. I'd say about 85% of the time. So in this aspect, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to cord cut by erasing in our mind names of people or situations that we're holding resentment on. Blessings, everybody. Fatima, blessings. So from our end, then what we're going to do is, if you want to close your eyes, if you don't want to, that's fine. You can imagine it with your eyes open. You be you. Well, I'm going to close my eyes. So imagine a chalkboard, like in The Simpsons, and you're at the chalkboard. So who do we have resentments on? You can write one of two things. You can write their names. You can write on the top of the chalkboard resentment, and then their names. So what are their? You can put their names, or you can put the physical resentment. And just imagine it on the chalkboard. You can write it. You can imagine seeing it on the chalkboard. You can imagine they're writing their name, what have you. What we're doing is we're removing that resentment outside of ourselves. And it doesn't mean it may be totally cleared. You still could run into a situation that could, possibly bring it up if you don't totally clear it through this, and maybe doing a little bit of shadow work by really just your intentions here can do a lot of that shadow work for you. There may be some stuck emotions that you have to let through, and they may come out and purge through all of this immediately, or they may come out throughout the day, or they may not come out because they're still stuck. But you may find also that you're not at least reaching to the resentment that often anymore, at least thinking about it. Or if you hear said person's name, you're not going to immediately go, ugh. And that's half the idea anyways. So what we're going to do is center down and imagine the chalkboard. It can be a rolling chalkboard, a big blackboard. It can be a dry erase board. It doesn't matter. It's you. And whatever you like. I kind of do it like The Simpsons, except I'm not Bart. I don't have orange hair. But nonetheless. So I'm imagining I'm writing on the chalkboard. So I'm going to write the names of those I might have a resentment for. I'm writing it on the chalkboard. Fran from the water cooler, just as an example. My mother, but I don't really have any resentments anymore because I worked through it. But you get the idea, and you write it out. So we look at the board, and we see what we're writing on the board, and we see whose names we have on our own internal personal chalkboard that we are visualizing, just like when you would visualize manifesting or something. or you have intentions and you set visualized intentions for your day. Pardon me. Some days, on the cloudy, rainy-ish, foggy-ish days, I kind of wake up with, sometimes I can wake up with a froggy throat, especially if the AC's been on and it's kind of cooler outside. So anyways, look at the board there, and so keep writing your names. We're going to give it another minute. And you can always come back to this if this is too fast, but we're all trying to condense this into a half an hour, 40-minute show. So, all right, and so keep writing those names. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at those names, and we're going to say, I now release those names, and I release the resentments that I have behind these names. I no longer give these names and any energetic resentments, any negative energies, any more power in my universe. You can say that really however you want. This is personalized, but you get the gist. I'm no longer giving these names, these people, these situations, any more resonance in my universe. Now, if you're still friends with these people, that's fine. If you're just dealing with a resentment, then you would say, I love this person, but I'm releasing the resentment that they caused, or that I allowed in my field. You allowed the resentment. They didn't cause it, but your reaction was the resentment. And so we state that out loud to our universe. And we grab an imaginary eraser and we erase the chalkboard. No sound effect needed, but either way, we erase the chalkboard. And there we go. So now you should have a clear chalkboard. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. And then if you really want to release them, you can bang two erasers together and clear the chalk dust. And there you go. Just another way of doing a cord cutting. There's lots of different ways. That's just another symbolic way of removing resentments in this case. So if you get resentful, like literally if I get the hiccups, I will freeze. I will imagine a chalkboard. I do not have that. And I start writing it out. I start mantraing it to myself because it's me over me. I mean, I'm the inside running the outside, technically, unless you let your trauma body run your inside. There you go. So in this case, because it's my inside running my outside, I grab my inside and start tackling the hiccups immediately. And like, no, we're going to, the chalkboard method. Try that if you ever get the hiccups too. It kind of goes with the cord cutting. It's the same deal. All right, so we're going to call on Archangel Raphael and Saint Germain. We're going to do a channeling for this Friday and see what we've got. If you're new here, thank you for watching in the replay there. Or if you're in the chat, hiding out in the chat there that we don't know, grateful. I'm a semi-conscious channeler, so if I reach out for my tea, my Bengal spice. I had to look back and see what I was drinking. Bengal spice. There we go. I'm not cheating the channeling or anything. I can open my eyes. I could open them for a minute or two, but the light gets too bright, too much energy. And I look out to check the clock because I don't want to take this to like 10 o'clock or anything. I do have to actually go to work. So here we go. So we're going to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good Dunning and welcome. Good Dunning to you and welcome to Good Dunning with Mr. Floyd. We are Archangel Raphael and Saint Germain and we are channeling through Josh for you, to you, through Josh. We are grateful you are here on this Friday. And we try to say generally the same thing every Dunning, so you know that it is us coming through Josh. So we are sounding the same. How is your Friday? Have you fried anything yet today? Don't fry your brain, of course. But have you fried anything today? Are you frying a Twinkie or a ho-ho? We do not know why you would like to call your name Friday. We understand Moon Day or Saturn Day, but we do not understand Friday. It does not make any sense. You can look at some of your weekday names and see whether they make sense. But your Tuesday, your Wednesday, your Friday, they make no sense at all. Thursday, that makes a lot of sense. But otherwise, your days make no sense. But you created them, and you'll have to live with them, or you could all decide to change them. You could make them Bob's Day, and you could say Wednesday is now Hump Day instead, but you all would have to agree. But again, you would have to get more people off their butts to get together to agree to that, and then you could say Wednesday is now Hump Day, and you put it in the calendar. Nobody make a difference. But it wouldn't make any difference whatsoever. You would just say, welcome to Hump Day, which you say anyways on Wednesday. But we are just making a point, if you understand. So welcome. We are grateful that you are here. We are going to talk about what we did this dawning. Well, we are talking about energetics. We are going to talk about something else, but we are leaving that topic for later. We are talking about energetics today and how you, when you are writing on the chalkboard, the names of those who, we are going to tie all of this together because the whole week we have been doing card cutting, basically. And so we are tying the card cutting into today's message for you, into the channeled message that we are channeling through Josh for you today. So on Friday, so if you have a fair in your neighborhood or whatever, go eat something fried. There you go. Or you can go to Chili's or someplace that does lots of fried food and celebrate your Friday. I just find it fun. Saint Germain just finds it funny that you have a day named after the friar. We know it's not, and it's been Friday for years. But 50,000 years from now, they will dig up a friar and they will go, they named a day after this invention that they could fry things in oil. Ha ha ha. They may not know the difference. You don't know how you showed up here. You don't know how your pyramid showed up, and you really don't know about Atlantis. You think you do, but you have ideas, but you really don't know. You are only truly kind of putting puzzle pieces together. So they will do the same, and they will think that you are frying things on Friday, maybe. Ha ha. But nonetheless, we are talking about energetics here. So when we are looking at the chalkboard, and you're putting a name on the chalkboard, or you are cutting the energetic card, you are really cutting that card, so to speak. You are cutting the energetics. Your intentions in your universe. Remember, you are a grand tutorial, a field. You are your own toroidal field. You are your own energetic field in a larger field of energetics, running around, mooshing around other energetic fields all over the place. If you, like you said, we've been saying, if you saw this in light, if you are like walking around New York City, you'd see everybody's energetic fields colliding with everybody else's energetic fields. And it would be way too much, and bright energies and dark energies and greens and blues and hues. And everybody would be in the energy state, and you would see that solid body. But you would also see them as an energetic form with waves of energy coming off of them. And you could not handle all of that. So that is why you do not see all that, but it does not mean that you are not playing in all of that. And you are not still part of that energetic dance, and that you still have controls over those energies. And that's what we've been doing this week with the card cutting stuff. When we are saying that you are pushing your balls of energy out, or you are pulling out energies, or you are cutting a resentment, you are cutting a cord, so to speak, you are literally, so to speak, actually cutting a cord. You are energetically removing those ties. Those ties are real. And every time you walk away from somebody, you build up. You like, imagine yourself as having folders. Your mind is like a filing system, but think of it as you go to work, your work folder opens. So you step into that work folder. You step into the energies of work. You have a resonant energy that's different wherever you are going. So if you go to work, you're going to have your own specific resonant energy. Once you get off work, your energy might go up, or it might go down if you love your job. Once you get in your car, you have a different resonant energy that you are holding at all times. Everything is energetics. So when you are at work, you open up your work folder, so to speak, in your body, and you step in and you pull out that program. Because this is how you are behaving. You are behaving the same at work generally every day. It's a program that's built into you. So you put in the program, you put in the disk. If you remember diskettes, you put in the floppy disk. Most of us here are old enough to remember the floppy disk. So you put in your floppy disk, you close it, then you type run. We are really old school here, right? So we type run, go to, and start, or whatever. You are typing in basic. So you're programming your disk drive. So you run the program of work. So you are in that energetic state. Somebody comes in and knocks you off your program, then you're going to be resentful. You're going to be angry. You're going to be frustrated. Whatever it is, if you get knocked off your program, your boss comes in and starts yelling at you about your TPS reports and not having the right cover sheet, whatever it is for you in your universe, it's going to change your energetic field. You're trying now to get back. Your whole goal now, all day long, will be to get back to your set point for work. Like you are pulling up, like for Josh, when he goes and does his channeling in the dawning, he puts when his phone goes on and it goes into block mode, so to speak. Work mode is where he just puts it as work mode, so he is not getting phone calls. So you will not be in work mode, you will be in trauma mode. And then you will leave work, but you are still in that trauma mode. You have not shut off the program from work. You are energetics in everything that you do. So keep that in mind. If you are now off work, but you are still in work, when you are off work, because your program has changed. You are yelled at, you are traumatized by your boss. So that trauma has now stuck in your resonant energy. You are yelled at, your job might have been threatened, whatever. You are just terrible with your TPS reports and you cannot get your cover sheet correct. There's 4 other bosses outside of myself who are going to come around to yell at you. So you hear that and you go, oh, this is one of those days. We must be heading towards Mercury retrograde or something, which we actually are. So you are feeling the Mercury retrograde in your universe. So your work, your set energy, generally speaking, when you walk into work or if you go to school or when you come home from work, when you wake up, you have a set vibration that you fall into, generally speaking, every day. And as you rise up, then your set vibration will change. But if you are ascending, if you are descending, which could happen, but if you are in ascension, you can never really lower your set vibration. It may not go up very high much more, but you can't lower it. You can't be like, one day I am ascending, the next day I am totally in my self node and totally trashed my ascension. And it's gone for good. Never happened. Once you have the knowledge, the sacred knowledge, once you have that feeling, once you have an understanding, you cannot lose it. You can overrun it by like anger or what have you, but you cannot lose that. You will never not be able to regain that vibration. I want you to understand. People get fearful, like I'm going to lose my ascension. I'm going to lose my vibration and never get it back. Keep in mind, you are often given test vibrations. Have you ever not had like a minor Kundalini experience where you were like, whoo, I don't know what's going on, but I feel amazing in the universe and I feel at one. And you feel like you have never felt before. We are giving you that vibration at that moment so you can see where you are heading. We did not give you a taste of where you were going, then you would not know what you are looking for or what you could have. So you get those, you might have a weekend where you are just on cloud nine. Everything is beautiful. You are not in your work programming. That is gone. You are totally in a new programming where you have never even felt this vibration. And then you come back on Monday and that vibration is gone. That is your new set vibration, but now you have to walk towards it. We gave you the pre-vibration. This is what you are going to feel. Here you go. Enjoy. Now we are going to remove it, so to speak. It's going to leave your field. Now you have to work your way back up to it, so to speak. We do that all the time, so you know where you are reaching up far. Otherwise, you would be like, what am I doing, so to speak. So when you are at work or you are leaving work, are you leaving your work programming there? Are you leaving it there? Are you carrying a resentment from work home? Are you now resentful at your boss? We're going to make up the boss's name is now Bob. So we are saying your boss is Bob. So are you upset with Bob and sitting in your car driving home talking about Bob? You are no longer in the excitement mode. I am done with work. I'm in the car. I'm jamming to my music, whatever you are doing. My T-tops or my sunroof, T-tops. We are old school. My sunroof is open and I am jamming, moonroof these days, right? So my moonroof is open and I am just jamming it out. I am done with it and I am in space. Are you in your car now going, damn Bob, Bob, and he is yelling at me about my TPS report. So you are still in the energetic folder of work, but you are now in it with resentment. This is where that exercise would want to come into play. You could just be like real simple. All right, I do not want to carry this energies from Bob. So I'm going to put Bob, I'm going to write resentment on the bulletin, on the board, on the chalkboard, or the dry erase board, or whatever. Or you could do it in tic tacs on the bulletin board. You could put thumbtacks and say Bob. Whatever you want to do, you could remove the thumbtacks and take Bob's name off the bulletin board. That works too. You are getting the idea. You could put it on an index card and then write Bob. Then you could ball it up and throw it away. You could do that too. But what you are getting at is you are removing the energetics that are stuck with you from Bob. If you sit there and you say it's the symbolic act that helps to remove the resentment. You have to understand that you are in resentment fast. And it's your job to, of course, recognize the resentment. Oh, I am still in work mode. I did not get out of work mode. I am in the same energies. I'm still angry at Bob. I'm resentful at Bob for yelling at me about my TPS reports. All because I forgot one little dot and it really doesn't matter, but he's a perfectionist. And if you know he's a perfectionist, then it's your job to find that dot and make sure you put it on there if it's your boss. So in that aspect, you knew that you might get yelled at if you missed the dot. But if you did not know you missed that one little period on the TPS report, and Bob comes back and yells at you because it is not perfect grammar, and he graduated he's an English major or whatever. It doesn't matter. But Bob has a thing about his grammar. And so he comes to you and says, no, you have to fix your TPS report. And now you are holding a resentment. You have not left work. You are in your car, technically speaking, and you are still at work. So this is where the chalkboard exercise. You don't want to do a cord cutting while you are driving. That is not a very good idea. Although it does work symbolically, all of these things will work just as equally. It is really the application behind the symbolism that is removing the resentment, moving the energies for you, if you are in understanding. So if you are driving home from work and you are frustrated, you could do one of a couple of different things. You're at a traffic light, real quick. Close your eyes. Bob, on a chalkboard. I am resentful at Bob. I love my TPS reports. Erase. Erase. And breathe. And erase. And open your eyes. Make sure you did not miss the light. But otherwise, you are getting the idea. The idea is to symbolically, you are removing this from your field. You do not want to be in that energy. So you are creating a state to your universe, from yourself to your universe, saying, hey, I am no longer wanting to play in these energies. I am no longer wanting to carry the resonant energy of Bob yelling at me about my TPS reports because maybe I did not put the cover sheet on correctly. Or I did not even add the cover sheet, which really is not needed. But for Bob, he wants his cover sheet on his TPS report. So that being the case, I do not have to carry that resentment home and then give it to my wife or my family, or if you are married or whatever. You do not have to go home and give it to your roommate or to call your parents and say, can you believe Bob and his TPS reports again? His TPS report, you're driving me nuts with those TPS reports. Now you are dervishing. That's where you start dervishing. You have taken this energy of your resentment from Bob. Bob yelled at you about your TPS report. You are now resentful. You are still in the car, in the work energy. You get home, and now you start talking to your wife about your TPS reports and Bob. So now your wife is at work with you. You have dragged your wife into work to complain about your TPS reports. And now you are 3 hours from your TPS report issue with Bob, and you are at home. Your wife has made a nice dinner. You have children there, but all you want to do, your son is coming up to you, and you're like, he's like, I got an A on my math test, and you're like, that's great. I need to talk to mom, and you are just like pushing him away because you are just wrapped in this. Bob is pissing me off. You are not seeing the love in your universe. You are not greeting your wife. You are just coming in complaining about Bob. She's making a wonderful dinner for you. And your child is coming up with the A on their test and wants to hug you and say, yay, thank you for studying with me last night. And you are just sitting there dervishing. Your energies are pushing everyone's away. You are moving like a broken machine, like the dancers, the dervishing, spinning dancers who dervish around. The Grateful Dead spinners. If you watch a Grateful Dead concert, there's people who spin the entire show. They are dervishing. Same difference. So you are just spinning around. You are pushing. As you are spinning, you are whacking out all the energies around you. You are knocking them out. So you are poof to your son who wants to show you his A. Poof to your wife who is making her favorite dish for you, or your favorite dish for you, whatever that might be. And you are just blowing it all off because you are sitting there in the resentment of Bob and your TPS reports. Understand how your universe works and how your energetics work. Do you want to carry that into your home? That is what we are getting at here. And that is why what we are doing is important. It gives you two things, to center down, to realize, wait a minute, I am dervishing. I am in the energies of being dervished. I am in the energies of being resentful to Bob because he yelled at me about my TPS report. So I am acting in a manner that is not what I want to be. I am energetically knocking everybody over because I am stuck in a loop about Bob and the TPS reports. This is how we behave. We don't see it. So when you are trauma dumping on somebody, you might be stuck in that loop and you are trying to release your resentment, but you are doing it by dumping on somebody. Like giving that, I'm going to replace the trauma from me and give it to you. You can have a piece of that trauma. So now I'm in my own, it's not so traumatic for me. That's just, we do these things all the time. We are passing the buck, so to speak, but we are never clearing. So now you leave that trauma there, you go to work the next day. And this is where you ever hear where the proverbial needle in the, when the S hits the fan, we're not going to cuss, but when you hit the wall, it's like, that's it, I am done, I've had enough. That's just when your resentments add up. If you do not, you go back to work and Bob is like, here's your TPS report, you did not do this as well. Yes, I did it right here. You just cannot read, and you give it back. And Bob is just pushing your energy, so you get more resentful. And then you get more resentful the next time Bob comes around. Now you are just resentful when you see Bob. Are you understanding? The resentfulness is climbing in you because you did not deal with the first resentment. That is the catalyst to add other resentments. One resentment is like a sticky ball, a big thing of Play-Doh or whatever. You stick another resentment on, it sticks together real quick. And then they get a bigger ball, like adding more Play-Doh or like silly putty, and you roll silly putties together. Same difference. You stick, and then here comes Bob. Now you don't need a resentment anymore. You have a stack of them that have built up inside you. So now Bob is just a resentment in general. Are you understanding? So instead of Bob having to do anything, he's not coming to attack you. He's not coming to talk about your TPS reports. He's just coming by and saying, hello, how was your weekend? Did you have an amazing weekend? And you are already like, oh, it's Bob. And here comes Bob. And what's Bob going to say next? And you are already in that negative energy towards Bob. And Bob is just being positive and polite. He's coming by to say, how was your weekend? I am your boss, so I am going to check on my employees, and I'm going to do it with love. I'm not here to yell at you for your TPS report. He's not going to say that. He's just going to come up and ask how your weekend is. But to you, the moment you see Bob, you correlate Bob with negative and TPS reports and resentment. This is how you frame and build your universes energetically. I want you to understand that. So this is why it is important, mega important, for you to cut the first resentment first. If you do not cut that first resentment and you allow that resentment to stand, it'll like a sticky ball of tape. You add more tape to it, bigger. Get the next resentment, the bigger about it. Until you can't add anymore, you just explode, so to speak. So if you can clear that, and where we are doing these techniques, you can erase it from the chalkboard. You can say, all right, I cut the cards from Bob. Slice, slice. Or maybe as deep as you want to get, maybe Bob is a mirror of a trauma that you have to release from your parents. And that's why Bob is your boss. So Bob might be triggering other things too. You have to look into these things. This is your universe. Everybody in your universe is a mirror for something in some way, some fashion. Keep all of that in mind. But right now, we are really just talking about resentments and such, getting angry and whatnot, and davishing, where you are not in emotional control of your universe because you're in anger, still at work from Bob, but you're at home and you are yelling at now you are yelling at your child. You might come in and not notice that your wife is cooking your favorite meal, and then you don't say anything, and you are like, huh, and you just storm off into the bedroom, whatever you are doing, but it is not them. They do not know that. Your wife does not know that you are not upset with her. Your child, who's trying to give you his A+ paper, is not understanding why you are just saying, get out of my way, and you are walking into the bedroom. It is not that you are mad with them, you are mad at Bob, but now they are the representation of Bob in your universe. You are taking them out, taking it out on them, because you cannot release the resentment. So you have to take that out somewhere. Your emotions have to flow. They cannot sit in you for too long. So if you are not going to deal with the resentment that you have from Bob and getting yelled at about your TPS reports, then the resentment is going to deal with itself through the ones you love. You're going to take it out on your children. You're going to take it out on your spouse. You might take it out on your best friend. Everybody has that one best friend that you could possibly dump on. You might trauma dump on them. You might even get it to Fran at the water cooler the next day. If you have nobody else, you would just wait till Fran and start dumping on her, just like she might dump on you if you don't have set up boundaries. So there you go. This is what we are getting at. This is why resentments are very important. Why all these anger, these emotions that you need to clear. It's very important because you will drag that into other universes, every other stages, so to speak. Think of your life like a play. So 1 minute you're at work and you're at the play of work. Then you go home. Are you taking the script from the play of work with you to your home play? Are you taking the script from your home play into work? You can reverse the resentments. If you're pissed at your wife, then you might get pissed at your boss. So you might start davishing through work because you're pissed at your wife and you're taking out the fact that you can't release those emotions properly on people at work through anger or through resentment or through just yelling at them or pushing papers around or whatever you are doing. And you're banging on your keyboard even, whatever it might be. You would do that as well because you're not handling your emotions. You are letting your emotions handle you. We're going to repeat that. If you do not handle your emotions, and we say handle, we mean just to acknowledge them and let them flow through you. You cannot grapple your emotions. You cannot handle them. You cannot ball them up and throw them away, eat them or stuff them or anything else people do, but you shall not. Your best thing to do with your emotions, of course, is to let them flow through you. Do not take your sticky emotions, your deep traumas, and then shove them onto others through resentments and angers and yelling at your child because Bob did not give you an A plus on your TPS report. And you can't acknowledge the A plus sitting in front of you from your child. We are Archangel Raphael and Saint Germain, and we have channel. When you are out in your universe, if somebody is to piss you off, or if you are building a resentment, stop. Look into that. Do not keep moving. You keep moving past when you know you need to stop. So for a moment, if somebody says something, Bob comes into your office and says, your Bob, everybody has their own Bob, your boss, comes into your office and says to you something that gets your goat, puts you into a space of anger or possible resentment. At that moment, do you keep moving forward or do you stop and work out the resentment? Okay, why? First off, why is Bob upset? Okay, I did not do my GPS report correctly. Well, maybe he has a right to be upset then. First off, so you could drop the resentment right there. Sometimes people have a right to be upset. How they handle their upset is up to them. You cannot control if they are yelling at you or if they just come in and say, we need to talk about your TPS report. You have no control over that. Your control is your reaction to that. That's the only control that you have. So when you are getting dervished upon and put into resentment mode, can you freeze for a moment and look into it and allow it to either move through or see it, maybe it's your fault that you didn't do something correct. We're not saying fault per se, but maybe there's a reasoning that you're getting yelled at, even though nobody deserves to get yelled at. Can you slow down and then correct that or look into it and go, okay, Bob is just losing his mind. My TPS report was fine. Nobody else said anything. It went through the TPS committee and everybody, my report is in the file and it is good. So it's just Bob's issue. Can you see that? And then you might drop the resentment. Or you just might be like, that's Bob for you. And Bob comes in every day. But slow down and look into it. Don't just eat it and own it. That's just the big thing. We eat these things. We own these things like it is me. I am the one who, and it is all of my fault. And I have to, and yes, I am a loser, whatever it is. And what you are taking what Bob is saying as rote. You suck. You can't do your TPS reports correctly. Well, then I guess I suck. And if you take that, then you walk away feeling like you suck. But maybe you are amazing, and it's just Bob who cannot control his temper and he has too much zealous about his TPS reports. You have to look into these things as well. It's always not you. And if you are still resentful after doing all that, then you go to the card cutting. I'm going to remove this resentment. If you are in a place where you can do it publicly, I want to slice the resentment, and it's too much to do that, use the chalkboard. Write it out. I am resentful at Bob because. I choose to release this. I know that I am a good person. Bob is Bob, and I cannot control how Bob is. Write it out and ball it up. That's work. Ball it up, tear it up. Don't want Bob to see that. Tear it up and throw it away. Write it on the chalkboard. Bob is causing a resentment. I erase Bob's resentment. It's all your choice. You can carry whatever you want into your universe or you can release. How do you want to be in your universe and what do you want to carry around? And who do you want to give energetic permissions to? That's something else we haven't even discussed because you're giving Bob energetic permission to let you be angry or resentful or what have you. You're giving him that permission. You're giving Bob free space in your energetic field. If you want to do that, that is up to you. I think you are in understanding here. So we are going to release transmission. All right. So there we go. 40 minutes. Okay. 39 minutes. Thank you all. So that's why we do the cord cutting, the erasing, whatever it might be. Because if you want to sit on those heavy emotions, that's fine. But symbolically, if you erase it, your body doesn't honestly know a lot of difference, and it'll drop a lot of that. You still may have some resonant energy, but you're not going to be half as angry as you would be, or half as resentful, or anything. You may start laughing as you're erasing it. It really all depends on what the resentment is or on yourself. Kim, good dawning. So I thank you all for being here this week. I should have time to do a quick ISIS card. If not, I apologize. I do have to go to work. But otherwise there, hopefully the internet is back and up and running. It's amazing that we can give we can set up a system where one guy can put one patch in and not do his job correctly, and the entire world goes kaplooey. Kind of. Interesting space to be in, to say the least. Don't have any resentment against him. He didn't. He just did what he did. Thank you, Yanks. I appreciate you, and appreciate all of you guys. Ellen, Kim, Fatima, Bonnie, Millie, Laura, Lean, and anybody else who's Joyce. God bless you guys. Have an awesome Friday. Go fry something, and just don't fry your brain. And stay awesome, and stay beautiful. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next. Much love.